When you see a new singer absolutely blow up, you probably assume they're about to become the next big artist, not the subject of a murder investigation. But in the past few years, several musicians have gone from headlining international stages into something much darker. We're talking about artists with millions of fans who were later accused, charged, or convicted of crimes ranging from attempted murder to actual murder. Some of these cases are already over, but others are still unfolding right now. Today, we're breaking down some of the darkest cases involving music stars, starting with the one that's still unfolding.
David, spelled with a 4, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, was one of those artists that basically came out of nowhere because of TikTok. He was uploading songs online as a teenager, and the algorithm picked him up with his song Romantic Homicide going viral. And by 2024, he was actually playing in Coachella, which is one of the biggest stages an artist can go on. On paper, this looks like a total success story. A talented kid from Houston becoming successful because of the internet. However, it gets dark. Just a few months after the release of his debut album, the remains of a 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez were discovered in the trunk of a Tesla. Before that, she had been missing for months with no clear indication of what happened to her. Then, in September of 2025, her body was found inside the abandoned vehicle after he had been towed to an impound lot. That vehicle was registered under David. Prosecutors allege that David's relationship with Celeste began when he was 18 and she was just 13, and it continued until he was 21 and she was 16.
Wait, Andy, are you telling me that they met when David was 18 and Celeste was still just a kid?
Yeah, bro, I'm not gonna lie, that's kinda sus. Isn't she a minor?
Yeah, she definitely is, and that is definitely not legal, bro. But reports say that the night before Celeste passed away, she sent him a text warning that said that she was going to expose everything and end his career, which is what probably caused David to allegedly commit that crime. So, due to their connection, David was charged with murder, continuous of a child, and unlawful mutilation of human remains. Yeah, that's about as serious as charges get. But here's the part that made this case blow up online even more. David's breakout 2022 single, Romantic Homicide, has a lyric saying he killed someone, but only in his own head, not for real. He actually explained in an old interview that the line was about letting go of a past version of himself, not an actual person. But once the case broke, the explanation didn't matter much to the internet, and the song shot back up the charts as people went back and picked it apart line by line. On top of that, he has an unreleased song recorded years earlier that had the name Celeste, directly describing a girl by that name in pretty intense, obsessive terms. Here's some of the lyrics. I'm obsessed, oh Celeste, afraid you'll only love me when undressed. Andy, it sounds like David had a super unhealthy relationship with her.
Yeah, bro, it's actually crazy that he was hinting things in his songs, but he actually did it in real life.
Yeah, Andy, but recently there's been some updates on the situation. In July 2026, a judge ruled that there was enough evidence for this to go to full trial, thank God. But that's not a conviction. That's just a judge saying, yeah, there's enough here that a jury needs to hear it. So right now, there's no verdict. David is still legally presumed innocent until that trial actually happens. But this is still one of the more disturbing cases on this list just because of who the alleged victim was and who David is in this current day and age. But we're gonna leave this case here for now and come back when there's an actual outcome.
However, our next artist isn't. And it's a name that you've probably heard before because it involves one of the biggest names in hip-hop. This is Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez actually had a real mainstream success. Multiple platinum records, a #1 on the Billboard Top 100, and multiple Grammy nominations. So by 2020, this wasn't some random guy. His real name is Daystar Peterson, and he was born in Brampton, Ontario. He had a rough start. He lost his mother when he was 11 years old, and he bounced around because of his father's missionary work, and he was basically living on his own by the time he was 15. He dropped out of school and grinded through multiple mixtape circuits for years, and he eventually got discovered by Sean Kingston and signed with Benny Blanco's label under Interscope. His song Say It became his breakout hit, and by 2020 he had real commercial success and a genuine fan base. But everything he built became erased in one night. In July 2020, there was a car winding through the Hollywood Hills, leaving a pool party at Kylie Jenner's house. Inside was Megan Thee Stallion, who is one of the biggest female artists in hip-hop, along with her friend Kelsey Harris, Tory Lanez, and his driver. According to Megan's testimony, an argument started which was sparked by something she said about Tory's music. Due to the argument, she got out of the car barefoot, still in her bikini, and started walking away in the dark. And that was when Tory Lanez pulled out a pistol girl and told her to dance and shot her twice. Bro, Lukey, are you telling me that just because of an argument he pulled out a gun on her?
Yeah, I think so. And there's no way this guy told her to dance before shooting her. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, bro, and within minutes, Harris texted one of Megan's security guards, "Help, Tory shot Meg, 911. And when the police arrived, Megan initially told officers she cut her feet on broken glass, not that she had been shot. But later she said in court that she only said that out of fear. And the real reason was because Tory Lanez had offered her and Harris up to $1 million each to stay quiet.
For months afterward, the public didn't really know what to believe. There was a bunch of different stories floating around, and Lanez' team kept pushing alternate theories about who actually fired the gun. It took months before Megan publicly named him as her shooter at all. And when the case finally went to trial in December 2022, the jury convicted him on 3 felony counts: assault with a firearm, having an unregistered gun in the car, and discharging with gross negligence. So in 2023, he got sentenced to 10 years in prison. And since then, he's filed appeal after appeal trying to get the conviction overturned. But so far, none of them have worked out. He's still in prison now. Out of everyone on this list, his case is definitely the most closed. Now, unlike David, there's no Tory Lanez song that would raise any sort of suspicion. But Megan Thee Stallion actually dropped a track called Shots Fired months after the shooting, directly addressing the incident and accusing him of trying to pay off a witness to stay quiet. Andy, Megan Thee Stallion's actually kind of goated for that, writing a diss track on her shooter.
Yeah, bro, thank God that she came out on top, because that was a terrible thing that Tory did. But our next artist didn't become famous and then go on the run. He became famous because he was on the run. Tay-K, whose real name is Tamor Travis McIntyre, was born in Long Beach, California in the year 2000. His early years were very unstable. His father was in and out of prison, and his family moved around from California to Nevada before finally settling in Arlington, Texas, when Tay-K was around 10 years old. He tried for a fresh start, but ended up dropping out of high school during his freshman year and threw himself into the music career instead, joining a local rap group called the Daytona Boys in 2014. He later put out a solo track under his own name by the time he was 15. He was still a teenager, only known around the Dallas scene, when everything changed. By the time he was 16, he was accused of participating in a 2016 home invasion in Mansfield, Texas. During the robbery, 21-year-old Ethan Walker was shot and killed. Tay-K was arrested and placed on house arrest while waiting for court. But in March of 2017, he cut off his ankle monitor and disappeared. While police was searching for him, Tay-K recorded a song called The Race. The entire song was built around the fact that he was running from the law, and the music video even showed him posing beside his own wanted poster. Then the song went viral. Bro, Lukey, I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of a savage for making a song about him being on the run, dude.
Yeah, he was wanted for murder and still making music videos. That's crazy. But Andy, this gets even more insane, because by the time police captured him in New Jersey, The Race was becoming one of the biggest rap songs online. It eventually reached the Billboard charts and turned Tay-K into a star. But by then, his freedom was already over. In 2019, a jury convicted him of murder for his role in the home invasion. He was sentenced to 55 years in prison, but that wasn't the end of his legal problems. Because while Tay-K was on the run, prosecutors said that he also participated in a different robbery and the killing of a 23-year-old photographer, Mark Anthony Saldivar, in San Antonio. So in April 2025, Tay-K was convicted of a second murder and sentenced to 80 years in prison. So unlike several artists in this video, there really isn't any unresolved question about whether Tay-K will go to prison, because now he's been convicted of murder twice. And the song that made him famous will always be directly connected to the crimes he was running from.
Now our final case is about something even worse. One of the biggest betrayals in the music industry ever. This is YNW Melly. YNW Melly, aka Jamel Demons, came up out of a group called YNW, which he started with his closest childhood friend. His breakout song Murder on My Mind was literally about the idea of killing a friend and living with the guilt afterward, walking through the hypothetical of doing it and getting away with it clean. It was originally uploaded years before the killings, back when he was a teenager, and it was just seen as a moody, dark track like a lot of other trap music at the time. But one day, his two friends turned up dead, and that song took a completely different meaning for a lot of people. In October of 2018, his fellow group members, Anthony Williams and Christopher Thomas Jr., were found shot and killed after a late-night recording session. The scene looked like it was a drive-by shooting, but prosecutors said that that was not actually what happened. They said that Melly and other members of the group shot the two of them themselves, then staged the whole thing to make it look like they've been attacked by outsiders. Melly eventually turned himself in for questioning and got arrested in 2019. Bro, Lukey, I'm not gonna lie, that is hectic hecka suspicious, writing a song about killing someone back then, and then later 2 of his friends end up dead? Like, there's no way that's a coincidence, right?
Yeah, he's definitely been plotting this for a long time, and I can't believe he betrayed his childhood friends.
The case finally went to trial in 2023. Jurors sat through weeks of testimony and forensic evidence, but they couldn't reach a unanimous verdict. The judge declared a mistrial. However, prosecutors didn't let it go. They announced that they are retrying him on the original first-degree murder charges. And this is where it gets kind of unbelievable. The retrial was first set for October 2023. Then it got pushed back to September of 2025. Then it got delayed even more over disputes about what evidence would be even allowed. It's now scheduled for January of 2027, which means that if it actually happens on time, it'll be almost 9 years after the killing and about 8 years after his arrest, with 0 conviction the entire time.
Melly's lawyers have asked for bond multiple times, at one point offering strict house arrest with 24-hour security and no social media access. But every single request was denied, and as of right now in 2026, he's still sitting in jail. He's facing 2 counts of first-degree murder and can get life or the death penalty if convicted. He's pleaded not guilty this whole time, and his defense still says he's innocent. And out of everyone on this list, this is the case that's been dragging on the longest with the least resolution. So yeah, that's 4 artists with 4 completely different endings, with all of them supposedly have been committing terrible crimes. These are some of the darkest cases the music industry has ever seen, and at least 2 of them are still going on right now. So if you know others that deserve a spot on this list, drop them in the comments, because this might need a part 2. And if you guys enjoyed that video, make sure to like and subscribe and comment what you want next.
See ya.